Thomas, tell me what your thoughts about your season this year. I mean, did the World Cup, you've been training. Talk about how it's gone since the Worlds, and then how you're feeling coming into the Final X.
It's kind of been an interesting couple months since the Worlds. Competed maybe not as much as I would have liked, but there's some reasons for that. And my performances haven't been on par with my World Championship performance, which, you know, there's no excuses for that, but there are reasons for that too. I'm ready to go now. I'm peaked. I'm just ready to go. And this is what's next. This has been a marquee event ever since I got second at the Worlds. We knew I was going to be sitting out. We didn't know the process yet, but it's been marked on my calendar, and just had to wait to see who my opponent was going to be, and I'm ready to go.
This is your backyard. You won a bunch of high school titles in Nebraska. It's not that long a drive to Iowa. You feel comfortable in this setting? Last year, it was your building, right? Very
comfortable. I mean, they were good to me last year here in Lincoln. My hometown's about an hour away in Council Bluffs, so I have a big contingency here of hometown fans and family and friends. So I'm looking forward to that. Just putting on a performance for them, just giving them what they come out to see.
So, because you haven't really wrestled, I mean, you've wrestled a little bit, but like you said, not as much as you would have liked to. When you're a returning world finalist and you're wrestling a guy who's never even wrestled on the world stage, most people would say it's going to be pretty one-sided, but people seem to think this is going to be a close one. Do you think the fact that you haven't been wrestling, that people maybe, I don't want to say forgot, but don't remember, you know, how good you actually are?
I mean, we can't forget that just because he hasn't wrestled on the senior world stage doesn't mean he hasn't wrestled at the world stage. You know, I mean, he's a junior world champion. We can't forget about that. So he's a very seasoned opponent. And I don't look over that, you know, not a second. But I mean, I think my performances since the Worlds, people look at that and then they look at his performances. They say, oh well, you know, Gilman's maybe down, he maybe lost his step, he's you know, tripping a little bit, and he's been, you know, wrestling good, but how good are his opponents that he's been wrestling? I don't know. I mean, Tony Ramos is, you know, on his way out the door, and I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I never thought this was going to be an easy match, whether it was Dayton Fix or Ramos or anybody. It's never going to be easy. You know, everyone's getting ready for this match, so it's never going to be easy. But
so Ramos has had his hands on both of you guys, and we had a radio show last week asking who's going to win. Ramos says he's taking Fix. Why do you think Ramos? What do you have to say?
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, it's Tony Ramos. You're asking Tony Ramos who's going to win between an Iowa Hawkeye and somebody else. You know, of course he's going to take the other guy, whether he knows deep down or not that I'm going to win. You know, Tony Ramos would rather see anybody win other than a Hawkeye. You know, he's delusional. He forgets. He tries to change history and he forgets. You know, but I mean, you guys got to understand the context of the questions you're asking. I mean, it's kind of a loaded question in more than one way, especially this question here. No, it's funny. I mean, people. It's funny. Of course, Tony Ramos is picking him to win.
Thomas, who are your main workout partners? What kind of athletes are you getting ready with? Who's going to be part of your victory if you win tomorrow?
I mean, everybody. I mean, I work out with anybody and everybody. I mean, you know, I'm about to go upstairs and work out with Corey Clark. You know, he's been a big part of this process. He's been a big part of the process starting 5 years ago. You know, me and Clark have been through everything and back together with Iowa wrestling, and he's continued to be a big part of that. Obviously, Spencer Lee, you know, Nick and Chris Dardanes, and you know, every other college guy that's around my weight. So I mean, it doesn't take one or two guys. It takes a whole village. You know, it takes, you know, not just Clark and Lee and Dardanes. It takes, you know, guys like Sam Brooks too and Bobby Telford. You know, maybe I'm not working out with those guys, but those guys are moral support and they bring a little bit of levity to the workout. So it takes a village, and I'm bringing that village with me.
Thomas, when we see you in a setting like this, that's one thing, but you know, when we see you with your arm raised out there, you seem fully possessed. What do you do to get into that mindset, to summon the Thomas Gilman that we see on the mat, the one that is highly intense, very mentally tough? What do you do to flip that switch? A mantra? Do you visualize something?
just getting ready to go to compete. I mean, it's kind of a funny question. I mean, if you think about it, you know, it's a controlled fist fight. It's a controlled street fight. When you're done if you've ever been in a fist fight, when you're done in a fist fight, you're damn possessed. You know, so whether you're focused or not going in, you figure out a way to get focused somewhere along the lines. And then when you're done, I mean, you got tunnel vision. The only thing you're thinking about is ripping that guy's head off. You know, so
habit-wise, is there something you do to snap?
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, mental preparation, physical preparation that leads into the mental preparation, and vice versa. I mean, it's not just me; it's every athlete, you know. But I mean, I could sit here and break it down all day, but I don't want to give away all my secrets.
Yeah. Can you speak, going back to training? Can you tell us, like, what's the most intense thing that you've done training-wise for this matchup? To push yourself. Well, is there a moment or practice?
I don't know.
You really had to.
It's a little bit every day. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are several things that come to mind, but I mean, why would I let you into my sanctuary where I'm worshiping? You know, when I'm have that ecstasy of that hardest, craziest thing, that's a very intimate thing for me and for people from my program. So, I mean, there's several things. I mean, you figure out a little something every day to push yourself and just do something a little bit crazy, whether it's actually physically or mentally or visualization or whatever.
How much of a role do you think experience is going to play? I mean, he still hasn't wrestled a college match, and you went through Big Ten, wrestling at the world level. Do you think?
You keep talking about experience, but I mean, people have been arguing that he's got more experience than I do. So I don't know. I mean, I think experience might come in as far as age. You know, I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit wiser. You know, in that press conference, you know, if you pay attention to the way guys, you know, hold their composure when they're speaking, there's maybe a little bit of immaturity there, and that's not a knock on it. I'm just pointing out facts. So maybe the composure, you know, late in that match, we'll see how he holds up. If he's got that maturity to hold up.
I think maybe another way to say